or the last set of series of videos that we watched was the plan for the pier and the pier detail and plan, and so we're going to now save this. You want to make sure you're saving it as the pier camp RVT file, and we need to do a save as to save this as a new file for the T-type to start the T-type plan and detail. So I'm going to go back up to the R drive. You're going to open you can open actually the pier or slab. I don't think it really matters much. I'm just going to work from the pier here. Hit save as project, and I'm going to go back up one level to the camp folder and create a new folder and rename that folder T-type, and inside of that put in camp T-type as our final foundation series video and file. Just as we did before, we're going to go to the foundation and get rid of what's there. So I want to delete all this as much as I don't want to, because the foundation, we spent some time on that, but we've already got a save of it, and this is a brand new file. So we go back to, we'll end up changing the pier detail to a T-type detail. So from foundation, we need to have a reference of where the first floor is. So I want to put a first floor underlay in here. And I want to turn off the roofs right now. So I'm going to hit VV. VV allows me to open up the visibility and graphics, and I want to turn off roofs so that I can see just the floors of the first floor. I actually want to just see the floor itself. So you know what I might do here too is change our view range. So I'm going to go down here to view range. Remember when we set this to -1 foot 1, I'm going to set this back to 0. And what that should do is allow us to see the floor, and I'm going to set this back to 0. That'll allow us to see the floor system, which is going to be easier for us to use the endpoints of the floor to define where the walls are going to go. The foundation wall should line on the outside. They should line right up with the outside edges of that floor. So let's go ahead and create the foundation wall. So in architecture, we go to walls, and we're going to create a foundation wall this time. So I go to foundation, and let's make it a 8-inch concrete wall. So I'm going to pick foundation 10, edit type, duplicate it, and change this to 8 inches. And hit OK, and then across from structure, I'm going to change the structure to 8 inches. And we've got ourselves a 8-inch concrete wall. Now I want the concrete wall to go from the foundation as the base constraint. Oh, that's top constraint right now. And yeah, let's leave that the way that it is. We'll leave that as a top constraint. And we have a depth of just 1 foot 1.5 inches right now. Let's see what we get. Okay, so I'm going to start here and going in a clockwise direction. I want to create the walls and have them line up with the corners of the floor. Just like that. So the outside of the walls for the foundation walls are lining up with the corner of the floor, which is going to also line up with the outside face of stud. So once you go all the way around, you can hit the modify button, and then we can go back to our edit view range and set this back to, let's do a cut plane of -2 feet, and then top of top offset. Well, let's leave it like that. We hit apply. This is what we want to see. Let's go to our 3D view and see what's going on. And there are our walls. They're really, really short. So I want to select that one foundation wall. Right click and choose select all instances visible in view, and that should select all of our foundation walls. And at the very top of the foundation, this is the reason why we're having some trouble here. We have top constraint is first floor, base constraint is foundation, and they're not very far away from each other. So we want our base constraint to be let's keep that at foundation, but our I want to be at -4 feet. There we go. So this is going to be a frost wall. And then our top constraint should be first floor, but there should be a top offset that will be the floor platform thickness, which we realized was 2 3/4, plus 1.5 inches for a top plate. So that makes that 12 3/4 plus 13.5. I'm sorry, not 13.5 plus so 12 3/4 plus 1.5 makes it 14 1/4. So we want to go -14.25 inches. I think I did my math right. What that will give us is a small little gap between the floor system and where the top of foundation wall is, and we're going to fill that gap basically in our detail view with the mud sill. Okay. And actually, what I might do when we do the detail view is show you how to do a wall sweep. All right, so we have the foundation walls, I think, at the right height. So we have them, just to clarify, I have them set to foundation for base constraint, and then -4 feet, because our foundation, I think, is way up here. Let's make that -5 feet, just to make sure we have plenty of room. Oh, I want to select all of them. So select all instances visible in entire view, and then select them, set them all to -5 feet. Now we want to put a footing underneath these, and we do that very similarly to the way that we added the haunch. So if we go under structure, and I pick the structural foundations option, we get a 36 by 12 inch footing, but that footing should really only be 16 inches wide by 8 inches deep. So I'm going to hit edit type, duplicate it, rename it 16 inches by 8 inches, and then resize the width to 16 inches, resize the thickness rather, to 8 inches, and we have an appropriate size for our footing for this wall. Now I should just be able to click the bottom edge of the walls all the way around, and it's going to create a footing for us and attach that footing automatically to the bottom of the foundation wall. So there's what we have now. We have our foundation system, and then we want to create a slab inside of that space. So I can now get rid of my first floor underlay and add a slab. So let's go into architecture, floor, change this to 4-inch slab, and then pick the inside, or actually if you just hit pick walls, you should be able to pick your foundation walls all the way around. But you want that pink line on the inside of the foundation walls, so use that little flip tool to put the pink line on the inside of the foundation walls, and then hit the checkbox. So let's see where that foundation floor landed. It's way up here, so we want to grab that floor. It ended up probably inside where the floor system is. So I've got to go back. You know what? To get to it, this is we got to go to the section view. So I'm going to go to the section view, and we should be able to see there's the slab right there. It's buried inside the floor system. Where that slab should be is it should be at the same location as our foundation, or at the top of our footing. So I'm going to select the slab, and I want to attach it to not first floor, but let's attach it to well, let's do foundation, and I'm going to do -5 feet. And in this view here, if I wanted to see the full foundation in section, there it is. Now that slab didn't quite go in the right place. It should be 4 inches above that. So if I select that and subtract 4 inches from this value, it would end up being 4 feet, -4 feet, 8 inches. And now I've got the slab in the correct location. And this detail here is my call out, so I'm going to make adjustments to that. There's my call out, and we're ready to add dimensions to the foundation and put some windows in this foundation as well. Okay, so and then I'm going to break this up into 3 videos, I believe, because there's a little bit more going on with this one. So in the next video, I'll show you how to place lally columns and put some windows in and add the dimensions to this, and then the following video will be the detail video.